Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road. It's the first touch, strong connection. It lays deep in your soul. Feel the kindness strongly coming. 'Cause you can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to Nancy's Psychic View on the high road to humanity. And we have a lovely lady here today. Carina Marshall is joining us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nancy. I am honored to be here.
Well, I'm excited you're here today. Where are you, by the way? Where are you joining us from?
I am located in Los Angeles.
Okay, fantastic. Well, guess what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about your greatest superpower. And Karina has written this cool book, Discover and Use Your Greatest Superpower. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm really excited that she's here. I do want to mention that I do have my angel class coming up. It's April the 13th. Now, if you can't make all 3 Saturdays, that's fine. I can send you the recordings, and so you will have them. But this will be a live angel communication class with me, and it will begin on April the 13th. Just go to my website, nancyyearout.com, to sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I've been teaching it in LA, actually, at the Conscious Life Expo. Yeah, and I just taught it down in Florida. Well, I didn't get to teach as much, in Florida. I had a little bit less time. But the goal is to really teach everybody how to connect. I also want to mention that I'm going to come across with an Easter message, so you can look out for that here this week because it is Easter week. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about Karina. She is a vibrational transformational coach. That's interesting. I like this. She's passionate about serving others on the deepest level through promoting vibrational living. She's all into energy, you guys. She's a certified master life coach. She's life and spiritual mentor. She's a meditation teacher, and having practiced is it Kriya yoga for decades. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay. Karina believes the world is in transition, and I agree with you. I think we're definitely in transition. And she offers an intuitive and a practical approach to help people feel empowered and overcome these challenges. And she is in Los Angeles. She has a soulmate. His name is Craig, and he was a yoga monk for 35 years. I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool. I want to hear your story, actually, Karina. Tell us your story. How did you even get into this work, if you don't mind?
Yes, well, I had, ever since I was a little girl, I had always thought there was something more than just the physical, my physical self. And I used to have an imaginary friend in my head. And of course, that was what I consider my unlimited self is what I call it in my book, but it's also my inner being. Uh,
Mhm.
and I just through the years in my 20s, I thought that, oh, I have to learn how to know the secret of life. In my 30s, I said, oh, I'm becoming more knowledgeable about what to do and this and that. But in my 50s, I realized there was something more than just all the things that I am responding to externally.
Mm,
And I realized that I am really a spiritual being having a physical life. Uh,
right.
and that really led to my passion, quite a bit of passion into the non-physical part of our existence. And one thing led to another, and I felt this is my calling. I also have another profession, and that's in terms of what they call making a living. But
Yeah, what do you do?
yeah, I'm also a real estate broker, and I used to be a project manager in the defense contracting industry. I realized that at first I thought that I'm going to leave my real estate business and become just a coach. I would love to do that. But then the universe responded to me in terms of learning that I can integrate actually whatever I'm doing in my life with what I know and still be a coach in one form or another.
Right.
So
I
that's
give you credit.
where I am.
I give you credit. I was a real estate broker for many years. You don't know that.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes. I started in, gosh, I'm going to age myself now. Let's see, I started in 95.
Aha.
Yeah, yeah. And I did it for many years. But I will tell you something, and I'm telling this on the air. But after a while, I stopped and started doing the spiritual stuff. And then I couldn't go back. And it was
Mm.
because, and I have to tell you this, and it has been a struggle because you have to make money at this. And so, you start to realize, well, there's different things you can do, and the universe does assist you. You're absolutely correct. I love
Yeah.
it. But I'm just going to tell you honestly, it was the the atmosphere and the energy. And it was so all about money and not about the people. And when
Mm.
I first got in it, it was about and through my career, I was always like about the people. But then you deal with people who aren't about the people. You know what I mean? And that became difficult. Have you had that problem? I'm just curious.
Well, I guess from what you're telling me, we both agree that real estate and dealing with clients in real estate is
Yeah,
a real spiritual training ground.
it is.
And I realized that since it's my spiritual training ground, how do I integrate what I know energetically
Mhm,
with who I'm interfacing, and how am I co-creating a certain reality that I'm perceiving, which could change if I can inject some of the metaphysical tools, which I mentioned in
mhm.
my book.
I love
And
it.
yeah, so far it's been working out okay.
Awesome. I just think it's great. I think it's really great. Well, because you do talk about the physical body, you talk about the spiritual body, and you talk about the unlimited self and the connection to self. And that's what I really like about your book. And a lot of people have come across on the show talking about how we need to go within. Do you want to address that a little bit?
Well, going within is, words are just really pointers to what we're trying to put our minds to understand. So when we say go within, it's really not, it's really going within, meaning um, turning off your mind, the chatter of your mind, and turning off or slowing down your responses to the external stimuli. And meditation is one practice, and in the meditation practice you have that stillness, and that's what going within means. But once you are quieting your mind, or once your mind is quiet, you are actually expanding your consciousness and allowing you could receive thoughts that are inspired. It's a source of, in my experience, creativity.
Right.
So when by going within, you are actually expanding or allowing the expansion of your consciousness.
Mm. I feel like when I sit down and when people meditate, that's when I connect. I always say I plug in to that higher vibration, bring in the light, plug in, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people, just visualize, but I visualize the white light coming down through my crown chakra. I teach the audience to do it. I teach them to ground because I think we've lost our connection. And you do talk about this in the book. You talk about healing and with the white light in your book, don't you? I love it.
Yes, yes, I do. By going within or connecting with our what I call unlimited self, which is the vibration of source. If your label for source is called God, that's also good. I mean, not, I wouldn't say good or bad, but that's also works.
Yeah.
And or the divinity in each person. So that is what we're connecting with, and it's all vibrational frequency. So
Everything is energy. Absolutely. Yeah. It's really down to that. Everything is energy. We're these energetic beings in these bodies having a human experience. And I feel like we've lost our connection. And I like that you talk about this. You also say intuition is a doorway. I like that. Because it is, because once you start to go with your intuition, do you want to expand upon that? I mean, it really does change everything, you know?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Nancy, because I think a lot of people can relate to intuition.
Hmm.
But right now, 2024 March, I'm not sure everybody's on board with vibration. Sometimes they think of it as like, oh, what's that woo-woo? I'm not into
Yeah,
that. But
right.
intuition, everybody can relate to because I'm willing to bet that everybody has a form of intuition that that has worked for them and has given them an experience that they're still probably thinking like, what was that about? And if we only pursue, or when you ask the question, what was that about? That is really activating the expansion of your consciousness to the next level of understanding. And
Mhm.
so it's a really interesting process.
Yeah, it is. It's
Uh,
interesting. I was just as you do start connecting and start doing this stuff, I'm teaching these angel classes, you start to see 1111 and you start to see the numbers. And it did that, of course, happen to you as well.
oh my gosh, yes, Nancy.
Yeah.
I would wake up sometimes in the morning, it's 2:22, or and 11:11 was my first. Well, I had to live on my own after my divorce or separation, which I was married for 23 years. And the first rental I had after my divorce was 11:11.
Oh
That
my
was my
gosh.
first.
I love it.
And
That's
I
the
said,
universe
oh,
saying,
that must be
hey.
a sign.
Oh my
And I keep
God.
seeing those repeating numbers because I believe they're signs from our non-physical friends
Yes, they
saying,
are.
hey.
Yeah. Well, you know what I've realized, and they are from the angelic realm, giving us signs, but because the angels work by numbers. And what happened to me, and I'll share this with you in the audience, it started with ones, then twos, then threes, then fours, and fives. Now I'm on fives. So I think, and so what I've realized, because I've seen this happen myself, it's a progression. As we progress, it's
Wow, yes.
confirmation. You know what it, so that's what I've realized. Quite interesting, isn't it?
Oh, beautiful. Yes, because, and also, I think you play an important role in how you're ascribing the meaning, because that's also communicated via your unlimited self or your non-physical self. So that's really wonderful.
Right. I wrote down a quote. You said, I define consciousness as the invisible building block of everything. As its basic level, consciousness is vibrational energy and carries information or intelligence about what we can learn more, or which we can learn more. I thought that was really profound because it's all about expanding the consciousness.
Yes, the topic of consciousness has been debated upon by scientists, and over the years, there were a lot of different, I guess, points of view.
Mm,
But if we collect a lot of the material about consciousness, it's really a building block of everything. Everything has consciousness.
mhm.
And
Absolutely.
we're not going to go into that, of course, but it's a very important uh, aspect of our reality and of our understanding of existence, because consciousness is the conduit for material manifestation. And so a simplified version is probably helpful in understanding the powers of creating in the physical world.
Yeah. Well, we're all little creators. We all have that little spark.
Creatures creators.
Yeah, we are. We're creators and we create our reality. And, I think that's what people need to understand is that we are creating our own reality. And you talk about a lot of this stuff in your book where, programming and that. But I want to get into, I've got a lot of notes, but what I wrote down, I wanted you to tell the audience about the dream healer, Adam McLeod, is it?
I think it's
Is it
McLeod.
McLeod? McLeod. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I can't read my
Adam.
own writing.
Yeah,
So he
I'm
was
looking for the book
contacted.
here.
Yeah, he was contacted by Edward Mitchell from Apollo 14. He was an astronaut and a scientist because he had kidney cancer. Will you tell that story? Because Interesting.
Um, well, as I remember it, the astronaut actually had a condition, and he heard about Adam as the dream healer, and contacted him. And long story short, he was able to heal him at that point, and they connected, and he got really inspired to promote Adam and his healing powers, and as a result of, not as a result, but it led to his creation of the organization IONS, IONS. And you can Google that or go online, and they are really a forefront for telling everybody about the nature of consciousness, and it's a very interesting a website. But out of that particular story came this inspiration, and now we're benefiting from that connection in terms of our understanding of consciousness, and how that can really help us live a more fulfilling life, because it is within us, and we
Yeah.
have that superpower.
Well, yeah, we all have this power. We all have the ability, to run energy. And it's just bringing in the light and sending that light to ourselves, because we can heal ourselves, and to other people. I've taken training in it. I think you have too, haven't you? In Reiki?
Yes, I
I
have Reiki.
thought you had.
Yes, yeah, and then after Reiki uses symbols as well, because with the symbols is the energy of those symbols, and also biogeometry, which is um, originated in Egypt, has also is another topic. But uh, the point is that in certain symbols, the vibration of those symbols has the ability to influence the consciousness field towards an intended result that the creator or co-creator is trying to achieve. So
I love it. I love it. Now, I didn't learn Reiki personally. I took the healing hands with light. And so that's what I do. I run the light through.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, I think, but there's so many. I think people need to understand that we can heal each other. You also talk about spoon bending. I thought that was cool. Is this something that you just did, or I was just curious about this?
Well, when I relocated to California 12 years ago, boy, I was just amazed at the people I've been meeting that was probably I'm resonating with. And I got invited to a spoon bending workshop. And it turned out that, it was really a format to introduce people to healing,
Right.
because it's energetic, So how that works is that you have an intention to bend the spoon, and there's 7 types of ways that this teacher was teaching us how to bend the spoon, and it's all a demonstration of consciousness in action, where you have an intention and you put it on the spoon, but then you forget about it for a while. And we were dancing to the Macarena music, and then you come back and in a relaxed way, and then you get to bend the spoon. So
Oh,
it's a
interesting.
demonstration of the power of allowing once you have intended,
Wow.
what you wanted to do.
So let
So
me understand this. So you put the intention out to bend the spoon, then you went and danced to Macarena,
yes,
and then you
because
came back and the spoon, and then was it bent?
well, no, you have to physically hold
You
the
have to
spoon.
physically hold it and do it.
Yes.
Okay. So
But
when,
then, go ahead.
well, no, I'm just wanting to understand. So you put out the intention, then you went and had fun and let it go, which you have to
Yes.
do. And
And
then you
then came
came,
back.
and then you came back and
Yes. And what happened was, I think most of us, when we're trying to bend a spoon, we're so programmed to think, oh, this is a metal. It cannot be bent, right? So you had to kind of put your intention and then kind of distract your mind a
mm,
little bit by doing the dance or whatever. And
mhm,
then when you come back without even thinking about it that much, you just do it, and it
it's
bends.
done. I love
Yeah.
it. That's so cool. Thank you for teaching us that
It's
today.
a demonstration actually of how we can apply that to
Yeah.
our daily life. And,
Well, yeah, well, because a lot of us, myself included, we want something and we like focus, 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 focus instead of letting it go, and that's just a perfect example of why it's so important. Now, why do you think that is? Do you think when we focus too much, why do you think that it has to be let go like that? Do you know?
wow, what an excellent
Well,
question,
I'm just wondering.
Nancy. Yeah, because by asking the question and me responding, and we're co-creating a possible answer here that also expands our
I
understanding.
know.
So it's exciting, right?
Right.
So I think focus and allowing, these are two types of action
Got it.
that actually we need to balance. Focus is very important. I think, when people say, wow, how did you become successful, let's say in a project? I always kind of say to myself in my head, well, I'm just a good focuser, because I
Mhm.
focus on something. But then the allowing is the balancing of not letting the mind get into the way of
Gotcha.
what you already have intended. And
Mhm.
so, one tool of allowing for me is my pet cat.
Oh, okay.
I
I
like
love
to
it.
play with my cat, right? And
Right, right.
because it distracts my analytical mind who wants to go forward and achieve a result to just relax, and it's all being taken care of already. So
I like it. Finding the balance. So it's balance. It's just balance.
it is, yes.
It really is. And I always, I love how we talked about this today. That's so cool because it really enlightened me. Thank you. You also talk about seeing ghosts in the book. But, I just want to touch on it briefly. Have you ever seen ghosts?
I have, and it's more like a really brief apparition, and interestingly enough, I wasn't really scared of it because when I was a kid, I used to have a nanny, and they would scare me so that I could go to sleep on time. So I had this kind of like programming. Oh, it's scary, non-physical stuff, and that's woo-woo. But when I did see an apparition, actually, we were at a restaurant with my friend. We were four people, and it was late at night. Everybody had left, and we were discussing something. And one of the seats became vacant because our friend had to leave a little earlier. And I saw this image of a man, and I described it to my friend who was sitting on my right. And I said, did you see this person? I just saw this man. And I described the man and as detailed as I could. And it turned out it was the exact description of his father. So that was like an interesting kind of,
Yeah, that's cool.
that was
That's
a long time ago.
Yeah,
So,
that is interesting. I've only seen my father actually when he passed. I
mm,
got to see him. He
mm,
did, go.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the only time. And I think it's because I'm more afraid. I don't want to see. I think it's because I'm a chicken. But you also talk about changing your program in the book. This is a really good book. Do you have a copy of your book you can hold up to show the audience
Yes.
today? Just
I
because I don't have one, it's my fault. I don't know why I didn't get her book, you guys, but
This is my daughter's, so it has a
oh, I
lot of.
love it. Oh, I love it. That's
I'm
great.
sorry, is it showing?
Yeah, well, no, we can't see it. We can't see it.
There.
Now we can see it. There you go. Okay, cool. She's got all her, see, that's how you know it's a good book because she's got all her little tabs in there. You guys, if you're listening
Yeah.
to us on the podcast, her daughter has got all these little sticky marks in the book, and that's really cool. I love that. How old is your daughter? Can I ask?
Oh, she's 30 now.
And she loves your book.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but at the same time, I think because
I think it's good.
when the message of the book is about empowerment, I mean, who doesn't like to feel empowered, right? Especially
Mhm.
during these times.
Well, yeah, and you've written this at a time that we need this. I started to mention about the programming and changing your thoughts, and this is another subject that a lot of my guests have brought up, and I've worked on myself, and it's changing that story that we started with when we were younger that may not be serving us now. And
That's right.
did you find that too with yourself as you were working?
Yes, when I was born in the Philippines, so 99% of the people there are probably Catholics.
Okay.
Uh, so I had that programming, and
Mm.
over the years, I realized I was outgrowing some of the things that I thought about, and my filter for trying out new things is asking the question: Is it limiting me or is it empowering me?
Is it
And
bringing you joy or not?
exactly. And in the empowerment, the next question I ask myself is that, do you think it will make you more loving, or it will make you more tolerant of people? I mean, those are the qualities that Jesus, God, or whoever, whatever saint you believe in, or guru,
Mm.
are all teachers of truth are really talking about. So that filter about being empowered is really important in questioning my beliefs, whether they're still serving me or limiting me.
Yeah, that's really beautifully said. You also say you can learn to vibrate a frequency that resonates and magnetizes your desired reality, and this book will show you how. So I wrote that down because I want you guys to know. And then she gets into your superpowers. And I don't want to give away your whole entire book, but you do talk about conscious. What I liked is that you talked about consciousness, freedom. You talk about unconditional love, which is something that we've got to get back to. Um, you do talk about non-judgment, which I think is one of our biggest issues
Mhm, mhm.
that we judge. Uh,
Yes, yes.
if we could get rid of the judgment, I learned that a while ago. And when somebody had said to me, and this has probably been 8 years ago, somebody said, we got to get rid of the judgment. And I started to recognize in myself how much I judged. And then I started to see it in others too. Do you want to talk
Yes,
about it a minute? Because it's true. It's like once you start
it's
to realize
true.
it, yeah, then you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, we live in a world. The material world is naturally polarizing because
Mm,
we're vibrating.
mhm,
So it's natural to judge, but then there's a way where you pivot that judgment into a preference without ascribing a certain negative label on the source of the judgment or the subject. Uh,
mhm,
and I think that's to me that that's really important because it keeps the highly desirable quality of being open um, in expanding our individual consciousness, and in the process, we also contribute to the collective consciousness, which is largely determining the evolution of the planet and our
right,
human race. So.
right. Well, if we can just stop the judgment, like I said, I'm going to get down to like the nuts and bolts of it. When you go to the store, you can see, or I don't even know how to, I was at the airport. Here, I'll give an example. I was at
Okay.
the airport. I was flying to Fort Lauderdale this month to go down there. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to dress up. I used to dress up when I went on the plane, but I thought, it was
I know.
I had to get up at 4 in the morning. I had to leave at 5. It was crazy. So I threw on a sweatshirt. Well, it happened to be a Detroit sweatshirt. Well, I haven't lived in Michigan for many years, but my daughter bought me a Detroit sweatshirt. So here I am in the Phoenix airport with a Detroit sweatshirt on. And this lady looks at me and she goes, "Are you coming from Detroit?" And I was just like, and I just felt like saying, "Are you judging me because of the sweatshirt that I have on?" And I just said, "No, it's just a sweatshirt. It was cold, so I
Yeah,
threw it
yeah.
on." But it just made me think, wow, she was judging me about what shirt I had on. And this is,
Right.
and that was
Yes.
crazy. It had nothing to do with anything other than I was cold that morning and threw it on. And that's where we get lost in this stuff, I think, because you have no
Mhm.
idea what somebody's gone through or what their life is like. And
That's right.
we're
Yes.
so quick to judge them. Anyway, I just thought it was like, it just, it's just blatant out there, isn't it?
I would probably also think, oh, well, you're probably driving a car that was manufactured in Detroit. Thanks
See,
God, there's a
yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. Yeah, and I did actually work for GM when I lived there. It's just that we're such a judgmental society.
Yeah,
What we
yeah.
wear, what our hair looks like, what do we have our nails done? It's really gotten to be over the top, I guess, is what I want to say. And don't get me wrong, I like nice things, but I feel like, I mean, I don't know, how do you feel about this? Don't you feel like we're really over the top on the judgment of each other?
Well, also with the social media and technology, the internet, we have become more and more polarized. But I think once that's why it's important to have the foundation of understanding the world of energy and how what we're thinking and feeling and our beliefs is really creating and contributing to the vibrational energy of the world, not only ourselves, our realities,
Right,
but everybody else. So judgment is if we realize, let me rephrase, if we realize we came from love,
right.
okay, and in oneness, and then we all came to be to live our existence in the physical universe,
Yeah,
and separated from that oneness and that unconditional love of source or God or whatever your belief is, or the universe. um then when we separated, there's a natural tendency to judge. However, if we keep reminding ourselves that we came from love and joy, and that we are vibrational beings in a vibrational universe, we have the power to change that polarization and extreme judgment into something that is more compassionate,
sure.
and more and kinder,
Mm,
and still celebrate life,
right.
the way we're doing. So
Yeah. And I agree with you. I just think it's when you connect, when you plug in, when you bring in that love energy. Like you said, you can call it God, source, spirit, whatever you want, but it
yes,
is that love energy, that vibration that's right above our head. And if we bring it into our bodies, we do become less judgmental and we do become more
absolutely.
compassionate. I believe
Yes,
it's because when we connect back, because we
yes.
have lost that connection. You said that really well. You talk about spirit guides and guardian angels in your book, made me happy. It made me smile. I was like, oh, God. So do you work with your spirit guides and your guardian angel?
Well, I would word that more like tuning in to that frequency of the angels or gods or whatever gives you comfort as, meaningful to you as an individual. So if Archangel Michael is the one that you feel is your guardian angel or your guide, that's great. If somebody's guide is directly, a certain guru or Jesus or Mother Teresa. I mean, that's the meaning that gives you comfort, then that's the frequency that you tune into. When what I mentioned in my book is more generic, so no
Mm,
matter what your belief is and what meaning you ascribe to it, you are tuning into that frequency of love, of joy, and really the true
wisdom.
nature of our being.
Yeah. And wisdom. We get information.
And wisdom, yes.
I mean, we just get so much information. Do you want to talk about Craig the monk who was a yogi for 25, 35 years? Do you want to talk about if this is your friend, yes?
Yes, he's my husband now.
Do you
Yes.
want, is it okay if I ask this? Do you want to tell the story? I thought it
Sure.
was really interesting.
Yes, we met 12 years ago, and we're both meditators. We met through an organization that was founded by Paramahansa Yogananda, Self-Realization Fellowship. We're based here in Los Angeles, and it promotes really the um, the importance of meditation in realizing who we really are.
Mm,
And about 12 years ago, I was here in Los Angeles at a at the convocation, and I met him, and I think we were resonating in our ideas of a relationship much because we already knew that our happiness comes from within, and
Right.
it's not something that we would get from another person.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's how we met. And we've been continuing to connect the dots, Nancy,
I
uh,
love it.
up to this day. And we are so excited to share what we know to other people who are probably too depressed with what's going on in the world, and to celebrate life a little bit more and our abilities to really create heaven and earth with the help of our guides, or with
Yes.
of tuning in to
Yes.
to our non-physical selves.
Yeah. And I have found, of course, with meditation and with quieting the mind, then you become an observer, and all of this craziness. And I've told this to the audience many times
Yes. Mhm.
because the way that I do it, and obviously I can tell that you do it too, is you stay centered. And you're an observer, you see what's happening, but you don't play into it. It's good to be aware of what's going on, but it gives us, for me, and I want to hear what you have to say, it gives me more motivation to do this work and to send out more light and to be the example and just keep doing the best I can. You can only change yourself. You can't change anybody else. So it's,
Absolutely,
you
yes.
know,
I learned that more in my 50s.
yeah, me too. I
But
agree with you.
I think we had to go through it, right? To really, appreciate, how we can manage our lives right now.
Yeah.
Uh, but can you tell me again your question? I'm sorry, I
Well,
got
I
so.
guess, you're an observer. You've become an
Oh,
observer.
yes, yes. The witness consciousness. That's a really, really important practice for me, because to become a witness of yourself and what you're doing and how you're reacting is the first sign of freedom for me, you
Mm,
know, because sometimes when there's a stimuli that cause me to feel negative, or caused some pain, I have a practice where I would engage my non-physical self and pretend that I'm looking at my physical body, experiencing that pain or that negative experience, and then watching it. And in the process, I create this space to not react right away,
mhm.
and even have the practice eventually for some people, which I practice right now, is to allow the light to give me the meaning that is most um, in tune with my angels, or in tune with source, or in tune with love and
Mm,
joy. So that helps me a lot in doing that.
mhm. Well, you start to look at things differently. Instead of thinking, why did that happen to me? I think, what lesson did that just teach me? You
Exactly.
know,
Yes.
you have to change the mindset of, these are happening for our benefit, for our growth, because,
Mhm.
and if we can get
Mhm.
there and see, oh, look at that catapulted me, like my divorce, I look at it like, oh, what a blessing. Because I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing now. So
Yes.
you have to look at each thing, you have to change it up and stop saying, oh, well, where's me, or why this or why that, and change it and realize it's all a learning experience and it's all.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's all a learning experience, and it's all a creating experience as well.
Yeah, I like how you talk about humor and the lightness of humor, and I like that because I always say, and the angels, I work a lot with the angels, and they like laughter. They say lighten up, it'll lighten up, and I think a lot of us take things too seriously, you know. So I like that you talk about that. It's a really good book. You tell us how to activate. We all have these superpowers. We all have gifts, don't we?
We do. And unless we explore our inner world, we will continue to be distracted by the external stimuli that we're always reacting to.
Mm,
And so when we are just reacting, we are actually becoming actors in somebody else's movie.
yeah.
But when we are conscious, we get to create our own movie and even get the assistance of non-physical beings, the frequency of source, our angels, the frequency of love and joy, to to pervade or help us in that moment on how we can improve that consciousness level, whatever we're experiencing.
Mhm. And I learn every day. I just want you guys to know. I mean,
Me too.
I'm still learning. I'm out there still learning. What do you want to leave us with today? We got to get out of here. We've been on for a little while. It's been a pleasure. How do people find you, first of all?
Oh, it's been a pleasure here too. Well,
Thank you.
my book is entitled Discover and Use Your Greatest Superpower,
Right?
Spirituality, Metaphysics, and Bubblegum.
I like that. Yeah, I didn't say the bubble gum, you guys. Metaphysical spirituality and bubble gum. I thought that was cute. I love that. Do you have
And
a
the book,
website?
yes, it's unlimitedself.us
Right.
or us. And
Okay.
it's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
I love it. What's new? What's up next for you? What's next on your
Well,
projection?
I am feeling that I'm going to be writing about feelings and
Oh,
how we can potentially create a feeling without necessarily an external stimuli, and how that could benefit in our co-creative abilities to build a better world and a better collective.
that's really interesting. Thank you, Karina. You guys, Karina Marshall, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you,
I really
Nancy.
appreciate it. Yeah. You guys, I wish everybody a happy Easter, and I will be out there giving a message for this Easter weekend, but I wish everybody the best, and there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, so prayers to everybody out there. Thanks again for watching, and God bless.
Hold your head high, the world is coming. Watch the colors lift your soul. Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road. It's the first touch, strong connection.